Hello everyone, this is Erik, the Asian movie enthusiast, and this is my review of The Executioner, a Japanese action comedy from 1974 that was directed by Teruo Ishii and stars Sonny Chiba. Now, three street toughs are hired to take down a Tokyo drug dealer. Ryuichi Koga, played by Sonny Chiba, is a descendant of the Koga Ninja School, now earning his living through more nefarious means as a gun for hire. When he is enlisted to take down a drug cartel alongside Hayabusa, played by Makoto Sato, a disgraced former narcotics detective now operating within the criminal underworld, and renegade Aikido master Sakura, played by Eiji Go, tensions grow among the three-man team of shady dudes as each come to question each other's motives. Now, the opening credits are pretty neat. They show some dude's arms emerging from the darkness, and he's doing all kinds of martial arts stuff. Then the opening scene has like an introduction and backstory to all of our characters, like immediately, as soon as the credits stop. So this movie it's not wasting time. Like, we're getting right into the plot. And we see Sonny Chiba practicing his ninja skills with some like badass master giving him difficult training tests. Meanwhile, Makoto Sato's character is like this efficient hitman who has a very strict like code and always completes the tasks that he's paid to do. And then the third character is Eiji Go's dude, who's a murderer, who's waiting for execution on like death row. But Chiba's character breaks the guy out of prison. And I was just thinking to myself, like, you guys couldn't find someone else for this job? Like, it had to be a convicted murderer on death row? But, you know, whatever. It's a nice introduction. Gets the story going and gets all the characters together. So Sonny Chiba, he's like one of those actors who it took me a while to explore. And I think, like, back in the day when I really started getting into, like, Japanese movies, like, back in the mid-2000s, whenever I would look at, like, his filmography, because, of course, I heard of him before, and I would just look at, like, 200 titles, and I'd just throw my hands in the air and be like, where do I begin with this guy? So I just never really took a deep dive into him specifically, but I would see him in stuff just by coincidence, you know, from picking the film. But nowadays, it has become much easier to kind of target specific films that he was in due to the growing number of Blu-ray box sets that have emerged and have been popping up over the past few years. And there's at least like 3 of them that I can think of off the top of my head. And you can just pick them up, and they're a really nice focused introduction to the actor. So, in any case, they came out with this Executioner set with these 2 movies. And I'm like, hey, I'll check him out, you know? And he's very good in this role. You know, he brings a lot of energy to the film and makes it entertaining. Now, I've been a fan of Makoto Sato for a while as well. Probably before I even became a fan of Chiba's. And I've mentioned that in the past, I believe, on this channel. He appeared in, or even co-starred with, Toshiro Mifune in some of the most purely entertaining Japanese films of the 1960s. I mean, Fort Graveyard and Japan's Longest Day being, you know, 2 of the standouts. Both directed by Kihachi Okamoto, by the way. Great director. So after watching those films, I immediately became a fan of Sato's. And watching him play off of Sonny Chiba, who I have a newer appreciation for, was really a nice treat. And as if the cast wasn't already good enough, Yasuaki Kurata shows up. You know, he gets to fight, and he contributes a hilarious line of dialogue at the near the end of the film. Like, I was laughing pretty hard. And the supporting actress is good. Yutaka Nakajima, really nice, likable vibe going on. So the cast in this is a huge selling point. Like, they make the movie fun to watch even when there's no action on screen. And as an added bonus to that, you get like a 14-year-old Hiroyuki Sanada in like a small role near the beginning. So it's like there's a lot to see here in terms of like the actor front. Now, in terms of the action, it's just cheesy good fun. You know, you get some nice fighting, bloody violence at times. I mean, some of the deaths are just freaking ridiculous. You just start laughing when they happen. I won't even tell you what happens to a few of these guys to spoil the surprise. But the fight choreography is actually pretty good. You know, there's a highlight at nighttime. Chiba's fighting some hoodlums, and you get the neon lights in the background and lots of wide shots, fewer edits, and Chiba's allowed to kind of show his stuff here. He makes his spin kicks come out pretty fast, and his punches are good too, so it's good. It's pretty good stuff. He has a very like flamboyant, expressionistic style to his fighting, which is fun to watch. There's a good amount of comedy in the film, and it works. A little bit of nudity, some of which could be deemed, I don't know, exploitative, but it's all in good fun. It really is. Runtime is only about an hour and a half long, and the music is like upbeat 70s grooviness. So I definitely recommend this film. It's like, if you just want a fun actioner with some comedy from like the 70s out of Japan, it's a good watch. And I did watch the sequel, which is very different. I'm not sure if I'll do a separate review of the sequel or not. It's more like a lower-key heist movie with less fighting. And I think a lot of people like the sequel less than the original one, but I still did like the sequel because of some of the returning cast, and it was just kind of fun to watch. So I recommend the first one the most, and the second one I think is worth a watch. But these are available in a Blu-ray box set from Arrow Video. And the first film, at least, is also streaming on YouTube, so pretty easy to find. And if you've never seen a Sonny Chiba film or you're unfamiliar with his stuff, The Executioner is a pretty good one, you know, to introduce him. And as always, I'll see you next time.